rise for the pledge. Pledge allegiance
to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all.
Roll call, John.
Bob? John, come here, Mike?
Here.
Bobby? Here. And Janet? Here.
Okay, minutes of the October meeting. Chance to look them over. Dispense the minutes as written. Dispense the minutes as written. Adopt the agenda. We have Jane. Jane has a presentation, a very quick presentation on the agenda on the Indian River.
You want me to do it now?
No.
okay.
But I want to add you to the agenda.
And then I'd like to add a discussion on the assessor.
Discussion on the assessor. Okay, that Jane will be item 18 and the assessor will be 19. Motion to adopt the agenda.
So moved.
Is there support?
Support.
Okay, all in favor? Opposed? Public comment on agenda items? Correspondence?
I do.
Oh, you got it. Go ahead, Laura.
I just like to say that I've seen this repeatedly to other township employees since I started working here, but I'm asking the board to address the ethics policy in relation to Trustee Kramer's actions towards me this month. The ethics policy identifies me, a township employee, as a public servant, and Trustee Kramer sharing my financial information with a large group of citizens, namely his friends and other township board members, attempts to attack my character, my reputation. I find this in direct violation of the ethics policy, which is in section 1B, 2, 3, and 4, and section 2C. I appreciate the board's attention to this matter. Thank you.
Thank you. Public comment on agenda items? Public comment is closed. Correspondence? Nothing? You go ahead. Treasurer's report and bills?
The report and bills are all in file.
I move to pay the bills.
Motion by Bob to pay the bills. Is there support?
Support.
Jan, support. All in favor?
Aye.
Okay, budget adjustment, Dawn?
Yes.
You all hear back there? Is that too quiet? Is that better?
So, one of the things that I've been working on with Parks and Recs is a timesheet that breaks down by employee their regular hours, overtime, vacation, etc. But it also breaks down airport, cemetery, sewer. They'll be recording the hours that they work there. We have GL lines already set up for those, so it's just a way for us to better track. One of the adjustments that we need to make is on the 101, the general budget. I'd like to add a line for wages and FICA so that Parks, whenever they're working, not on the municipal building, because we have an agreement on the municipal building, but the fish, across the street by the chamber, those areas that are municipal or township owned properties, they're able to track their hours, and we can apply it to those areas in that GL. So what I'm asking for is to move to establish those GL lines for wages and FICA So it would be 2 of them, and move $1,500 into the wages and $115 into the FICA.
What was the one?
Where's it coming from?
It's gonna come from contingencies,
I'm sorry?
contingencies.
How much did you say?
1,500, 1,500, and 115.
Okay. So that's the budget adjustment?
Yep, that's what I wanted.
Okay. Is there a motion to approve that budget adjustment?
I will move to.
Is there support?
I'll support.
Okay, Bob supports. All in favor?
Aye.
Opposed? Thank you. Police report, Chief.
Not too much to report this month. We are having training at the Indian River Airport. It's going to be emergency vehicle operations training. It's going to be countywide. It's going to be on November 10th, so the airport will be closed from 7 a to 7 p.m. on that day. We also have 2 training sessions in December 6th and December 13th, which is also countywide. That's just a refresher training for a standardized field sobriety test, and that's going to be taking place here in this room. As far as Blight goes, the Caravan Motel, the fencing is not up yet. However, the materials are there on site. Hopefully in the next couple weeks, that's going to get taken care of so that blight complaint can get closed out. Give you a quick little update on the Witt Boulevard. If you went by there yesterday, you would have seen no trespassing signs. I went down there with the county. It has been removed for the time being. Gentleman who claims to own that property had removed all the riprap out of the water. The county did go down there and replace it today. I have a sneaky suspicion that it's not over yet, but I've been working with the county road commission as well as the prosecuting attorney to resolve the issue. So, any questions?
Thank you.
All right, thank
Very
you.
much, Chief. Okay, reports, DDA, guess that's me. We got the lights in this past week, 5 lights, and it, according to everybody's saying, it makes a world of difference. It's, the black hole is no longer. You'll drive into town and notice it's lit on both sides. Yeah, they did it in 2 days. Well, they came and dug and put the concrete in and then came back, and it actually put the lights up in 4 or 5 hours. It's amazing. I'm meeting next Tuesday or Thursday with consumers to start working on our plans for burying all the east side services, to change from overhead to underground on all the east side services. Be meeting with them, the engineer, and 2 of the field reps. Trying to think if there's anything else for DDA. Doug, can you think of anything?
Not right offhand.
Okay, got it. Okay, that's DDA Park Commission. Mr. Burt?
We, this Thursday at 2 o'clock, we have a parks meeting. We'll be talking about and finalizing our 5-year plan. And then on November 22nd at 1 o'clock, we will approve the plan. Anybody who wants to come is welcome.
You like that's an open meeting for, specifically for a hearing?
On the 22nd,
On the 22nd.
specifically for the 5-year plan, yes.
Okay. And Doug, we've been talking about that Spark grant, and
Yes.
Can you give the board a real quick update on those modules you found, which I think are fascinating, and quite clever?
Precast concrete, come on a trailer. Everything is affixed inside, all done. They sent somebody pre-head to get all the plumbing lined up where it's supposed to be, and they set it down, and it's less than a week turnaround from the time they start till the time you open your bathroom.
Wow.
And they run between 120 and 150 depending on the model. ADA compliant, to me it sounds like a no-brainer.
Yeah, so that would be, these would be the bathrooms at DeVoe Beach, correct? We'd
Yes.
Get rid of those vault toilets. Okay. Thank you. Planning Commission, Mr. Shervany?
Yeah, yes, we sent out the survey, or we sent out the contact of the survey. We had a lot of social media interest put out there. Mr. Kramer put it out there in his email blast, and Bird Lake Preservation also put an email blast out. We sent it, Bird Lake Preservation sent it out to 829 members, and we had 624 open them, Jim. And, we had 195, which was 35% of them, open the email, and we think we're using the email. So at least we figure at least 25% up to this week have looked at and did the survey out of Bird Lake Preservation. And I know, talking to Denise Klein after the first week, after it was sent out on social media in different places, that she had almost 160 people, which she was surprised we had that many taking the survey. So there was a lot of interest, I think, in the survey this year. So we're hoping to have probably 40% of the people in this township or the area that's going to fill out the survey. So we'll have a pretty good idea where we're at. And so our next meeting is going to be January 26th.
Is everybody here aware of what we're talking about? Mike, can you just give everybody an idea? We have a questionnaire out there about our 10-year master plan for the township. And the places to go to offer your input are, is it on Bird Lake Buddies? It's on the library. It's on, Bob has it on, you did an email blast.
Right.
It's on ELPA, it's on our township. Township website. Trying to think if there's anything else I can.
We're gonna put it on the winter tax bills.
So it's going to be in the winter tax bill. So we
So
like to.
people that don't use the internet, I'm glad to hear that they're going to get it on the tax bill, so they can actually come in here, and hopefully we'll have copies here and in the library, hard copies they can fill out manually, and then Dawn or whoever, Bobby, can turn them into Denise from NIMCOG. So if you're computer illiterate like I am sometimes, you can come in and fill them out. And basically, this is what we want to use to start our 10-year master plan. We want to know what the people in this township want to see. And there's like 42 or 43 questions on there. It goes anywhere from short-term rentals to the airport, to how do you think about the police, the fire, and ambulance service, and the township itself, how do you think it looks, So there's a lot of good questions in there that we went through, and Denise, who is an expert in doing township and county surveys, she put it all together for us. So if you get a chance, go out on its monkey survey.
Chimp,
Survey monkey?
Survey chip, see here I go.
Survey
monkey. It's one of those things, but Tuscarora Township.
SurveyMonkey.com/Tuscarora Township.
Okay, thank you, Bob, appreciate that. So hopefully by January 26th, we'll have a pretty good representation of what the citizens and the people, the visitors want, because it went out to visitors too, and people that use our facilities in use in Tuscarora Township. So give us a good start for the 10-year master plan, so we can start working on where we want to be in the next 10 years.
We did have some hard copies out here, they've been picked up, we haven't had any come back, but.
Okay, good. So we're trying to blanket the whole area, and I think we're doing a pretty good job, because if you can get 25% of the people to fill out a survey, that's pretty good.
yeah.
Well, especially 48 questions.
Yeah, so
And Mike, I'd like to just interject, if I may. That-
Jim is our president, by the way, so
That's only a VLPA having
No, I know,
nothing to
but-
do with that. It was really well written. I don't like to take surveys, but I did. It was really well done. They were good, reasonable, legitimate questions.
yeah. Well, it took me about 20 minutes, but I was used to it. There was somebody in this room who said it took him an hour and a half to go through it, but I won't mention his name, John. So, okay, that's all I got. So we're gonna have a meeting on January 26th. It's a Thursday, so it's, like I said, it's open to the public, so.
What time?
It's at 7 o'clock at night. So it's on the website. Dawn put it out on the Tuscarora Township website. All our meetings, we have to have at least 4 a year, so we have those 4 put out there, and we'll probably have more than the 4 once we get started on the master plan. So, okay?
Thank you, Mr. Sherman.
Sure.
Okay, library report, Kelsey.
Okay. Okay, so,
If you consider yourself computer illiterate, I do teach tech talk classes. Yep, so I teach technology classes for adults every Monday at 3:30, and it's only about 30 to 40 minutes, so I don't try to overload you or anything, but those would be good to go to. Otherwise,
Cover, Kelsey.
yeah, thank you. And otherwise, Veterans Day, that's Friday, November 11th. We're going to do fine forgiveness for any veterans. So if you come in and you're a veteran that day, we will wipe all your fines, no questions asked. We also are doing, our friends of the library are doing a logo contest. They need a logo. So if you know anybody who does any artist, anything, they don't have to do it digitally, it can be on paper. And that goes until November 17th. The winner receives a $150 gift card and design recognition. And you can return, basically all of the rules and all the procedures are at the library or on our website. So that's where you can find that. And we also have a watercolors bookmarks class coming up where we'll be making watercolor bookmarks in the shapes of leaves and acorns. And that'll be November 9th, 1 to 3 on a Wednesday. And that's it for me as far as that goes. And then I've got the resolution. So the fiscal agency agreement, I was hoping to get passed today.
Yes, this is the fiscal agency agreement. Dawn has looked at it. I think we all had a chance to look at it. This agreement entered into first day of November. And what it'll do is establish the township as the fiscal agent for the library. It establishes us as where you'll be keeping your money. Appreciate that.
Yeah,
I don't know
pretty
about
much
that.
everything verbally that's been done is now written.
It's a
That's-
policy,
yeah.
yeah. Okay,
Very
here,
well written.
yes.
Our lawyer did it, so we'll take care.
Yeah. Whereas the library was established in accordance with Public Act 164 of 1877, all library funds must be held by the township in compliance with Act 164. The township and library agree as follows. Whereas the parties to this fiscal agency agreement desire to cooperate in administering the operation and maintenance of the library for the purpose of providing library service, including service to the residents of the township, and whereas the township has determined that it is in the best interest of the township to assist the library in carrying out its operation, whereas the parties desire to enter into a contract whereby the township will act as a fiscal agent subject to the terms of this agreement. I am going to do the cliff notes coming down here. Township acting by and through the township shall hold, maintain, disperse, reconcile, and invest the monies deposited in the library fund. Taxes, revenue, all proceeds from any millages for the benefit of the library, money received by the township for the library, including but not limited to penal fines and state aid, shall be deposited into the township treasury and credit to the library fund. Payments, the township to disperse payments is authorized by the library board from the library fund at least one time per month or as needed to maintain vendor accounts in good standing. Documentation, the township shall maintain and provide to the library the following documentation: copy of bank statements, any records relating to library fund that are required for reporting requirements. Township will prepare and provide a monthly report with the following information: minimum trial balance, budget report, and general ledger activities. The township shall invest the monies in the library fund at the direction of the library board. The payroll, the township shall perform all payroll and associated record-keeping tasks for the employees working at the library. Audit, the township shall also audit the library fund as part of the township's audit. Exclusive control is provided in Section 5 of Act 164. The library shall have exclusive control over the expenditures of all monies collected to the credit of the library fund. Library obligations, the library shall approve a detailed budget and provide the township with a copy by June 15th of each year. Acceptance of duty to act as fiscal agent, the township hereby agrees to perform the duties of fiscal agent described in this agreement and in the statutes, rules, regulations, and court decisions applicable to the expenditure of the library fund as follows. Fiscal agent shall carry out its obligation described in paragraph 1. Fiscal agent shall not be responsible for any statement, warranty, or representation made by the library to the public as to the existence or non-existence of any fact or as to the sufficiency or validity of any instrument, paper, or proceeding. The fiscal agent shall be entitled to rely on a certificate signed by a duly authorized representative of the library of sufficient evidence. Unless otherwise notified in writing by the library, the township will apply all laws applicable to the township relating to the holding of township monies to the management of the library fund. The fifth is a term termination. The agreement shall be for an indefinite duration. This agreement shall be terminated upon 6 months written notice by either party. Amendment, this agreement may be amended at any time. The governing law of the agreement shall be construed under the laws of the state of Michigan. Severability, if any provisions of this agreement is held to be in conflict with any applicable state or rule of law, or is otherwise held to be unenforceable for any reason whatsoever, such circumstance shall not have the effect of rendering any other provision or provisions of this agreement invalid, inoperative, or unenforceable to any extent whatsoever. In witness whereof the library and township has caused this agreement to be duly exercised and delivered on this date written above. And I do believe we have roll call, please. Oh, we need a motion made, please, to accept that resolution. Bob makes that motion. Support? Bobby supports. Let's have a roll call. Thank you for indulgence there, folks. It's a little tedious.
I thought that was gonna be the Cliff Note version.
It was, wasn't it?
I got the whole thing, no, it wasn't.
Well,
Yeah, it was.
Reader's Digest. Bob?
Yes.
John, yes. Mike?
Yes.
Abby?
Yes.
Janet?
Yes.
Okay. Thank you, Kelsey.
Thank you.
Yes, thank you.
All right.
Good job, Kelsey.
Yeah.
Thank you.
I had somebody go into the library today, and they had not seen the remodel. So it's been a few years since they've been a library, and I'm not surprised with my friends. So they went in the library, and they were just amazed how beautiful it is. So if you get time, please go in the library and check it out. It is, it's just a really cool place. Sewer report, Robert?
As I said earlier in our earlier meeting, the EPA has approved their,
Turn your microphone on.
I'm sorry. As I said in the meeting earlier, the EPA has approved their final policy on applying for our earmark. So NEMCOG and the engineer are going to start on it. And hopefully we'll have it by probably the end of November, early December. If everything goes well, we might see that authority to use that money by the middle of January. And Aaron told me today that final design could be out either for our December meeting or our January meeting. He has to present the final design to the board.
We have a special assessment resolution number 1. Here we go again, folks. Buckle up. Yes. No. Are you done with your sewer report? This is a special assessment resolution number 1. We want to pass that today, correct?
Yeah.
Okay. I will, whereas, we'll start with the whereases and go as quick as
Wait,
possible.
no, I gotta have offered by member
Offered by member,
Mike,
okay, Mike,
supported by member
I'll support.
Jan, okay, ready, whereas the Township Board of the Township of Tuscarora County, Sheboygan, State of Michigan, pursuant to Act 188, Public Acts of Michigan, 1954, as amended, declares its intent to proceed with public improvements as described in Exhibit A. Whereas the township has received petitions in support of the special assessment district requesting the public improvements signed by record owners of land constituting more than 50% of the total land area in said special assessment district. Whereas the township board has caused to be prepared plans showing certain public improvements as described in Exhibit A. Whereas the same have been received by the township board and are on file with the township clerk. Whereas the township board desires to proceed with the proposed public improvements, now therefore be resolved. The preparation of plans for high-performance engineers showing the improvements, the location thereof, and estimates of the costs thereof is hereby approved. The township board hereby tentatively declares its intention to make the public improvements described in Exhibit A. Township board hereby tentatively designates as a special assessment district against which all or part of the cost of said public improvements is to be assessed. The township, as described in Exhibit B, the township board shall meet at the township office on Tuesday, January 3rd, 2023 at 7 p.m. Eastern Time, at which time and place the township board shall hear objections to the petition, the proposed public improvements and special assessment district therefore. The township clerk is hereby authorized and directed to cause notice of such hearing to be published twice prior to said hearing in the Sheboygan Daily Tribune, a newspaper of general circulation in the township, the first publication to be at least 10 days before the time of hearing, and shall cause notice of said hearing to be mailed by first-class mail to all record owners or persons of an interest in property in the special assessment district as shown on the last township tax assessment record of the township at less 10 full days before the date of said hearing. Said notice shall be substantially the form attached to hereto Exhibit C. All resolutions and parts of resolutions insofar as they conflict with the provisions of this resolution B and the same hereby are rescinded. Roll call, please.
Point of order.
Yes, point of order.
I must abstain because
Oh, yes.
I live in the proposed district and I would benefit.
Okay, this Bob's asking to abstain. He's saying he is in the phase 2. So,
And I would benefit.
and you would benefit.
I guess like the question I have is how do you benefit if you have to pay for it?
It's a benefit. Well, that's how they describe it. It's a benefit.
Unfortunately.
I don't get that.
I don't either, but that's what the bond council said to do.
Yep.
If it's worth what you're paying for it, you benefit.
Yeah, I suppose, but I don't know if it's worth it.
Just trying to help you, Doc.
Okay.
Okay. Roll call, please.
Okay. I'm writing this down. So skipping and gone yet. Mike?
Yes.
Abby?
Yes.
And Janet?
Yes.
Okay. Very good. Resolution is adopted. Okay, Chamber Director, I'd like to introduce to you Shiloh Slonsky. Shiloh, way in the back. And we've been waiting for a Chamber Director for some time and already worked on a few things already with her. And it's great to have somebody aboard carrying all that load again.
So if you're not aware, it's actually a new partnership between the Chamber and the Convention Visitor Center. So I'm actually Executive Director for both. And working forward to some things. I've tried to keep the doors open and slowly meet every member one by one in person. So if I've not met you yet, be patient, I'm coming. But I know that we talked about bringing in some MEDC employees. One is for community development, and the other is for business retention and growth, to have kind of a public forum workshop for business owners or developers. So hopefully we can have that here. So that's one thing that I'm working towards, hopefully to come soon. Not aware, we are moving forward with the Christmas craft show as well as Indian River Downtown Christmas. So we have lots of things planned for November 25th, including soup throughout downtown and lots of Christmas cheer. So thank you.
Welcome. Thank you, Shiloh. Motion to approve treasurer and/or supervisor to sign the closing docs for Commerce Park lot. That attachment was, I sent that attachment to you. This is a requirement from Sheboygan Title. They wanted to see that Bobby and I were, and/or I were named as representative of the township to sign the closing documents. And they haven't set a closing date yet, correct?
I do think we need to strike the to mortgage certain property.
Oh,
because
that's
we're not
right.
mortgaging.
Yep.
Oh, I thought you did.
No, I thought I did in the title, I didn't. We're changing that from mortgage to sell?
I don't know that we need to keep that in there at all. I think we can strike the whole sentence.
Oh, really? Even with
Because
that
it
price
says
in
up
there?
here, supervisor, Mike Ridley, or
Okay.
treasurer to sell.
Okay. So we strike that sentence? Yep. Sorry, I missed that one. Okay, so that has been struck.
I'd like to make a motion that we accept the resolution
With Supervisor Mike Ridley, I don't think it's necessary to have both of you sign it, so just have Mike sign it.
Yeah.
Yeah, I think it was if Mike wasn't available, it's not an and, it's nor.
Oh, okay.
If the closing date came and he wasn't available.
Oh,
But
okay, that's what I meant. I thought it was like
We
both
can
of your
change the closing
signatures,
date
so.
too.
Yeah,
Okay,
and or
that's good.
Bobby Blazovic.
Do either.
Okay. You okay with that motion, Jan? Will you kind of restate that again?
Well, I guess it's a moot point now because it was explained to me, so I make a motion to accept the resolution to sell the property.
Okay, and then we need a roll call again.
Mike?
Yes.
Yes. Boswick?
Yes.
Hance?
Yes.
Kramer?
Yes.
Okay, ethics, conflict of interest policy, there are a couple things in there we need to address. The first one being the conflict of interest. Bobby, I don't know if you can explain, or do you want me to give it a shot?
Go for it.
The thing is, it's happened without Bobby doing the tax, doing the PTAs, what's called a corroborated transfer affidavit, is that Clayton, our assessor, has his way of doing things. And it's put Bobby behind now in the way that she does it, because he's used to having the county, correct? Do a lot of his property transfer affidavits. We've always done them ourselves. And now, just the way that we've got this set up, you're ready to start working on your taxes and all the PTAs aren't in, correct?
We're not there yet.
We're not there yet. And I think that our recommendation from Rob Booth originally was to strike that out of the ethics policy.
So it's page 5. It's D, dual employment. Not only did it impact, is it impacting her?
Use your microphone. Thank you.
Not only is it impacting Bobby now, but it impacted us when we were waiting for an assessor because it ended up costing us an additional $1,000 to have Clayton clean up the deeds that we were behind on versus her doing it if she would have kept up. It's just a bad policy. It's a bad sentence. The lawyer told us that it actually violates the law. You have a copy of on the front page, you have a copy of the section of the law that it violates. And Rob told us to strike it. We should have just struck it back then.
Yeah, this goes back to June 9th. That as I understand, this is from our attorney, as I understand, the board has directed me to suggest an addendum to the conflict of interest policy that would reflect the intent of the board respecting Mrs. Balazovic's effort for assessing and work performed in the election department by someone other than Ms. Vance. I appreciate the suggestions by board members, and there is more than one way to solve this issue. I prefer to go with the least complicated and suggest the board delete the first sentence of 3D. No public servant shall engage in employment with any other agency or department of the township. And that was from our general counsel.
I think the issue is we struck that to,
We changed it.
well, we struck, we changed it and went along with that. But there's lots of other parts here that no one's followed, not no one, but haven't been followed by board members. So I think I feel a little slighted in the manner, and it's caused, more work in the office. In the way that our office has run, and there's different ways to do it, and if we're gonna change, then we're gonna change, but our office has always run a certain way. We've run our assessing department a certain way. And when you change midstream, mid-tax season, and start doing it a different way, it's eventually going to affect taxpayers. And that's, in my opinion, what we try not to do. And I feel like this conflict of interest policy has been used to do just that, to harm me, but in essence then go on to the taxpayers. And so if we're not all 5 going to follow the ethics policy and treat every section when we zoned in on one little section, then maybe we should strike this. And I know we have to have a policy for the feds. Maybe we come up with one that's more business oriented.
This is also where I think Laura had made a comment too about this conflict of interest ethics policy. Is that what you were saying, Laura? You hear me?
Yeah, I can hear you.
Yeah, but you brought this up that you wanted us to address the ethics policy.
About what I said earlier
Yes.
tonight.
Yes. So, I mean, I can see where this gets out of hand, and it is political season, and damn glad when the damn thing's over.
But if we have, I mean, again, we push policies
So what line are you talking about, D?
on which one?
Dual employer.
No, that's one Mike brought up. That, I mean, honestly, for me, that's done. It's over with. I'm not going back to do that. We're moving in a different direction, obviously, with assessing.
But it does keep us from.
But it does keep, yeah, what
keeps
if
us from
some,
being able to run efficiently.
right,
I
we're
mean,
a small town, we're a small community, we're a small office. It's ridiculous to further restrict state law. If the state says you can do it, if I could work for the state of Michigan and work for 2 or 3 departments, but I can't in Tuscarora Township, in a small town where we're all trying to make a living and raise our families and pay the bills. So I could go to the state of Michigan level and work in more than one department, but Tuscarora Township has decided that I can't here.
Why did Mr. Huth put this in there in the first place?
This was
This was Rosemary, wasn't it?
well, it was, she sent a blanket thing. From what my conversation with her, she said, oh, I just sent a blanket one we had in the file for you guys to look at. I don't think they expected us to not do anything with it when we adopted it. So,
Frankly, I.
again, shame on all of us. I obviously didn't
No,
read it.
actually, shame on them.
Yeah, I mean.
Shame on her.
Yeah, so, but we moved forward, we spent a lot of time talking about it. And I think we went a wrong direction. At that time, I couldn't really talk about it because it was on me.
So what change do you want?
I think we get a new policy. I'd like to strike this policy and start from scratch.
Have you talked
Personally.
to Huth?
No, not without the board's, you know,
Why don't you just talk to Huth?
I would like to know what to do about it in the meantime. I mean, we have other issues in here to discuss as well that have been sitting on a plate for some time.
We can go there or we don't have to, but
Yeah.
it's easier to just say that it's not being followed.
I see how it impacted, and I know some of you weren't the most impressed with our assessor at the time, but I see how that really impacted the office of not having an assessor, which at the core of that was the fact that Bobby couldn't continue. He wanted the money, and we would not pay him the money, just come do what every other assessor does. Consequently, those PTAs, property transfer affidavits, stacked up. And in the meantime, we did not have an assessor, and all that got backed up to where we finally got an assessor. He caught things up, but he does things differently. You're trying to get going on your tax bills, and you're still
I'll
waiting.
be at the bottom of the queue at the county.
Yeah, so we have always, the county does this for some townships. We've always done our own property transfer affidavits.
Well, and printing, and it's
And
more
printing, yeah.
economical to do it in-house, for us to do it ourselves. That's why we switched. The county did do it for us quite a while ago.
So why don't you have Huth redo this and present us?
Well, that's what I'm saying. I think, yeah, we strike this because there's not,
I wouldn't strike it, let's just see what he's got. I don't think we want to strike it until we get a replacement because of our issues with USDA that's required. So just have him get on it. Doesn't that make sense?
that's fine with me. I just think it needs to be addressed. We can't have a policy sitting out there that's not followed.
Just directing to come up with an alternative policy. I think that's what you're saying, right?
Yeah, I'm saying you, I mean, you can't, you can have an ethics.
So let's have him do it,
Yeah,
and then we'll consider it.
that's fine with me.
I'd
But
like to
I
actually-
don't think that we
I'd
can
like
get
to-
rid of it because of the.
I'd like to see the dual employment, it's gotta come out anyway, so
Well-
scratch that today. It's gotta come out.
Scratch
First of all,
that
we
today
should
and then
not-
work on a new one.
Yep, we should not be making policies that are, we should not disallow what the law allows and allow what the law doesn't allow, and that's what we've done with this policy, with that section, for sure.
I don't
The
know
rest
what-
of it is because we're just not
I
following.
don't know why the lawyer did it then, which is
I-
very,
I don't know.
which is very strange. It's
I
very
don't know that
strange.
this was state,
Yeah.
for state, this could have been federal, I don't know.
He
No
told
one
us to
knows
take
where
it
it
out,
came
though.
But
from.
it came from our guy.
Yeah, but he told us to take it out on June 9th, and I wonder, we signed this, June.
We changed it.
Yeah,
We
he said
changed
take it
it
out.
because we didn't have a choice. He said take it out, and we changed it because it was 2-2, and we didn't. We weren't gonna have an elections, commission if we, or election workers, half of our election workers wouldn't be allowed to work.
Well, we loosened it up to accommodate the request.
Loosening it up is not the same as, we're still disallowing what the law allows. It's in violation of the law. And you guys, when we were doing the.
Yeah, I don't think it's in violation.
It's not in violation of the law. You can be tighter than what the law
No,
allows.
I don't know if you can.
no, you cannot.
Well, we're not
You
lawyers,
cannot
so.
allow
Well,
what the
let's-
law
let's
does.
This
see what the
discussion
lawyer
is
says.
new, we're not lawyers.
That's what
See
we,
what the
then I should
lawyer
be able to
says.
shoot somebody and, or shoot at them. That's no.
Gordon, do you have any thought about that or not? Can we make ordinances that are more strict than state law?
Yeah, you can.
Okay.
I
could make
wouldn't
it more
recommend it, but you can.
I was thinking about some of
You
these
what?
things.
I said I wouldn't recommend it, but you can.
Can you make them less restrictive than state law? That you can. Can you?
Less restrictive?
Yeah.
I would be asking your attorney on that.
I-
Yeah, well, okay.
We're thinking about
I mean,
the poverty.
that's out
Yeah,
of the.
I actually-
That's what we're thinking, yeah.
It's the thing about firecrackers.
That's out of the.
My opinion is that we just leave it the way it is. We get some issue from Huth, bring it in to have a revision made, and then we vote on that one, and then that will automatically disavow this one. I mean, you're only talking a few weeks here. And unless there's an emergency and in between, I don't see just changing it right now. I don't see the point of it.
Because it wouldn't take them that long, would it?
I don't think so.
No idea.
So I think there's gotta be
So
more.
what are you gonna scrap? I mean, what are you gonna take out? We're not following the policy. Clearly, we're not following.
I say you take out, I mean, we only put in what we have to put in for the feds, because this is, avoiding appearances, honesty,
do you-
integrity.
do
You
you
were all
think
supposed
he
to
knows?
uphold each other, and
Do you think he knows what the feds require?
I'm sure he does. If not, he can find that, or we can.
Can I make a suggestion?
Mm-hmm.
You guys should be getting a hold of Lori Burton, who's our insurance risk management lady, and see what they have for an ethics policy.
That's Lori that took us around a couple
Yes.
weeks ago? Yeah.
I've been reaching out to her back and forth, revamping our department policies and procedure. You name it, she's got it.
Yeah.
And what we need is not an ethics policy with them, it's the conflict of interest.
Which we already have.
So yeah, so I don't know where this encompasses that, but this encompasses a whole lot of things that I don't think this board is.
So you just want to send this back to him and say,
Yeah,
go ahead.
Is that your motion?
that's my motion.
Motion is to send,
I'll second.
send this, make sure we get the motion straight. The motion is to send this back to Rob Booth and then have it restructured for just,
Conflict of interest, what meets the Fed requirements.
just conflict of interest which meets the federal requirement. It's not a code of ethics.
Whatever it has
Whatever
to
the
be called.
requirement is.
Yeah.
Whatever the requirement is, okay,
Yes.
that's her.
That's my motion.
Bob supports it. Okay. Okay, all in favor?
Aye.
Aye. Opposed? And before we move on to this, as I stated, and I know some of you feel the same way I do, we've done and said a lot of things, and I don't feel at all like I'm on a soapbox. I just think we say and do things, and all of us maybe have slipped and said things and done things that have harmed other people, even according to this. And it's my feeling, my thought that we better read this through when we get it back, because I think we let it slip, and it's hurt people. And it's hurt people that don't deserve it. So I think we just have to take a long look at it and look at ourselves and our board. That I think we can get great things done here, no matter what happens. I've always believed that. Okay, that was my soapbox. Okay. The dockage project, Bobby?
All right, so this lovely binder landed on my desk this week. And I went through and organized, and Doug started getting information. Mike has been talking with the grant coordinator, and we have realized, which one? Amy.
Oh.
Who does think that I'm probably the biggest idiot in the world because I can't.
Yeah, so I got the spreadsheet. I may or may not have said that this week, but.
No, it's me that was hard to work with.
So.
She's been very helpful.
Oh, yeah.
Extremely.
Yeah, but so basically what was in the grant, a lot of the there were some costs that weren't there, especially related to the statue. At this point.
Referred in the grant as the landmark.
Yes, so where are we at? Here, you guys take one of these, because then you'll have it too.
Problems with the morrow.
So the statue is going to cost over $20,000. In the original plans, the statue and 2 kiosks were put in at $9,000.
Yep.
So that's where we're running into our problem, where we're gonna go over. Right now, the grant was written for $99,200 with the quotes that Doug has gotten this week for what we need to get done and so people that don't know how it works, they've come out twice, they've given us 2 draws based on the percentage done. So now, the next time they come out, it has to be 100% done, so they're gonna look at the grant application, they're gonna say, you said there'd be 2 benches, check. You said there'd be this, check. They're gonna make sure it's all done. If it's all done properly, they'll give us the rest of the money. If it's not, they won't. So we have to, some of these things, so this is where you start to go, okay, well, we could cut, and now we can't cut, to stay in budget. So in order to completely finish it with the statue in, is $117,963.
So that's about 18% of it.
Yeah.
That's not bad for 2 years of inflation.
Right, so that's where we're at. The other option that came up with Amy was to put 2 kiosks in, because it doesn't really outline what, so they would be okay with the 2 kiosks. And then we fundraise or come up with an alternate source of financing, possibly put the statue on the foundation that you guys, library already has out here, something like that, that she would allow us to kind of change direction a little bit with that and still meet the parameters of the grant. That would save us from spending an additional $13,000, so that would take $13,000 off that project. So we discussed the last time where we were gonna take the match funds from. After that, now we realize how far over this is gonna go and trying to wrap it up. So we kinda have to talk about where that's coming
Does this include, what do you call it, the sprinkler system?
from. Yes,
Because that was not in.
that wasn't in there. Yeah, there was no real
How
finish to the ground in
How
any.
much is the sprinkler system?
58.
So maybe we don't do the sprinkler system.
And that would put us real close.
No, but
Still off
any
by
little bit.
Yeah.
The kiosks are 3,200 apiece, if we go that direction, what we've been doing around town.
Right.
Well, we could limit it to one kiosk.
Kiosks, and that was what we had told,
I would just be, I like the idea of doing it over here too as well. But I wouldn't want,
Microphone, please.
thank you for telling me. That's a good idea, but I really wouldn't want to do anything without consulting with the tribe. Because I've been over and met with them twice. I think you've met with them, or at least with Ben. And it took a lot of work to get them behind us. So I wouldn't want to do anything without, I would recommend that we don't do anything without their buy-in. No, we don't have to ask permission, but it's culturally sensitive, and that's what we did in the first place. So, and I would be willing to go see the chairperson.
I talked to Ben about this, about moving, and he was fine with moving it. He's fine with just about anything we decide, but I in for a dollar, in for a dime. I mean, we're halfway through this.
Yeah, I mean, I don't know.
I don't
what
wanna
the-
stop.
If you do want to move it over here, you and I should meet with Ben and the chairperson, because even when we did this the first time, she still took it to the council.
It's a very, believe it or not, sturgeon is a very sensitive issue with Native people. And
Yeah, and I guess
Yeah.
I didn't go as far as looking at the budget, so
we have,
where we wanna pull that extra money.
Yeah.
If we wanna just keep going and finish it
Well,
this
let's
way,
talk
that's,
about the benefit of moving it. Where's, Jim? What do you?
what's that? Doug?
It makes sense, you don't need to pour the foundation.
yeah, that's the biggest cost.
I don't know, buddy.
Yeah.
It's a 10-foot tall. It's a big square foot. How tall is that pillar?
Well, let me just say, you probably don't have the ground issues here
Right.
that you do there, which would probably result in a less expensive foundation.
Like
Right, because
that.
you're talking
But wouldn't we
tomorrow.
have to have it all re-engineered again?
Just to explain to the people how much this cost, we had to get engineered plans for the base for the statue. That was $2,200, just the plans. To excavate out a 6-foot diameter hole and pound in 3 helical piers, according to the plans, was $5,300. The slab was $3,500, and we didn't even count renting the equipment to come set the statue, plus the other $3,200 to pay off the artist, $3,300 to pay off the artist. It spiraled out of control, the sturgeon. And figure out a way to move
That's really
forward.
something, because that's why we probably got the grant in the first place, because we were paying homage
Yeah.
to our history. So how much did you say that we would save by moving it?
So by moving it, the remaining, well, I guess you're not saving all of it, because we still have to pay off the statue, but we could go, we could do a fundraising project or do something for that. But the helicals, slab, equipment, so 5, 8, 9,
But wouldn't we have to pay?
around
some-
10 grand.
Wouldn't we have to pay some additional engineering fees to re-engineer?
I don't know, maybe, probably.
I'm in.
I would think you would wanna get an engineer, I mean, it's an
That thing is so
upright,
top heavy.
Yeah.
top heavy, there's snow load, wind load, I mean, I would want someone to say, this is safe, not us say.
I think they're
"Yeah,
gonna
should we-"
require that for the permit.
Oh, yeah.
The county's gonna
Yeah.
require it anyway.
Yeah, just,
So if you move it out, if you're moving it out front where the slab is right now out front, right? Is that gonna interfere with the sign, with the new sign?
I don't think so, because it's gonna be set back.
And then, here's something else. How will people, wherever you're gonna put it, I'm not quite sure what you're talking about, but are you gonna have a way for people to get to it?
Oh, yeah.
To read the kiosk? In other words, just having it there
Right.
is fine, but
You want
people
the
should be able to walk up, just like the fish, right, and read the kiosk.
But we don't keep that shoveled out, and we wouldn't keep that shoveled out down there. I think that if it's out here in front, people walking by on the sidewalk can walk up onto the lawn, or if it's light snow, if it's heavy snow.
No, I'm talking about the kiosk. Where would the
The
kiosk?
kiosk probably go somewhere by the,
Because again, when we talked with the tribe, they were going to provide the wording.
you know,
Their history guy is going to provide the wording,
Very
much
good.
like you did with
you know. How do we want to proceed? I mean, do you want to,
maybe we should talk to the tribe first.
we don't have a lot of time.
Here's the next thing, you guys gotta start talking to the tribe because you haven't ordered kiosks. And December 31st is when, we already got a 3-month extension on this. And December 31st, when I talked to Amy this week, is when they'll want to send someone out.
Yeah, she's
So-
okay with one kiosk, right?
Yeah, it just has to,
Just get the one kiosk.
I talked to the gentleman who's been doing our kiosk, and he thinks he can have it done by the end of the year.
Okay, so do we have to have it installed by then?
I wouldn't think so, because if you get it during the winter time, you probably don't want to install it then anyway. You probably want to wait till the spring. If we have,
No, are we gonna have to have the finished product by then?
I think, I would like to think if we're all paid up,
yeah,
and progress shown on everything that we ordered. I've got photos of the sculpture, it's almost done. So he could probably have it done in a week, but he said it wouldn't be to my standards.
So the expiration date on the grant is December 31st?
Yes.
January 17th was the drop
Can we get
dead.
an extension?
No,
We
we
just
already
got
got
one.
it.
Can we get another one?
It doesn't sound like
It
it.
didn't sound like it at all. No.
Like I said, I'm stepping into this.
Yeah.
Yeah, but what I'm saying is, I can make a case to her that because of the cultural sensitivities and the additional work that we would have to do with the tribe, we just need a little bit more time to discuss this. All they can do is say no. Mike, you're good at that stuff. Or I'll talk to her, I don't have a problem.
Well, okay, so what, because this, I don't wanna see this happen again with any other future grants. What has happened with this is it started with you, it got thrown on his desk, got thrown on Summer's desk, got thrown back on his desk, got thrown on Laura's desk, got thrown back on his desk, now it's on her desk. So we're
I
supposed.
wasn't even in office, all I did was volunteer to write the grant. Which I did, but in any event,
So-
should we ask?
Absolutely. I mean,
Yeah.
you have the relationship with her.
Well, it's hard to set, if we decide not to move it, it's hard to set concrete in December.
Right, well.
Right, it would have to sit out anyway.
Yeah.
It wouldn't be,
Yeah.
but we would have to have that bill paid before the end of the year.
So first, we would want to decide whether we want to move it or not. Because if we're not going to move it, we don't have to go to the tribe to talk to them.
Correct. So yeah, that's the decision.
So the decision is, do we want to move it?
Can I look for some input from Jim and from Doug? Because you guys were
Just have mine.
Yep.
Makes sense.
Jim, Doug, what are your thoughts about, because I don't trust that soil down there.
Right, I mean,
It would be very easy just to tell both the tribe and the state that we did our due diligence, and because of the soil conditions, we don't recommend that we put it there.
Yeah,
So we had to prepare another place to put it. And we have a good place, but we don't know if it's satisfactory for that large of and heavy of a sculpture. So we'd have to probably reinforce that one somehow.
Right,
Well, we
well,
just have to have another study,
yeah.
Yeah.
another engineering plan. The last one cost what?
Just let everybody know there's the marrow down there.
This one
and
probably
it
be a little
moves.
less.
It
I would
moves.
hope- well, and that
so-
you would kind of hope maybe performance engineering, since they do enough work for us, could
Uh-huh.
maybe help us out a little,
I can-
since this plan isn't,
I'll talk.
we're not moving forward
Do your
with what they
schmoozing,
did.
Bob, do your
We-
schmoozing.
Oh.
we should keep the irrigation in there though.
You would like to
Yeah.
keep the irrigation in there?
Yeah, otherwise we're not gonna have a nice lush lawn down there. You're gonna have a weed bed that,
Doug, can I ask you approximately how much that would cost extra?
for the irrigation?
Yes.
The bid put it in is, I think, 5,500.
5880 is the bid.
And you already got the black dirt in there.
Yep, I have the seed, the starter fertilizer on order, we'll be here with.
When are you gonna put it in?
Huh?
When would you put it in?
The irrigation?
Yeah.
He'll get that in as soon as possible.
He would've done it
There's still
this
a small window to get it dormant seeded. Which means you put it down right before it gets cold, enough that it won't germinate. It will actually germinate underneath summer and spring.
So if we went down to one kiosk, that would pay a good portion of what you're talking about. Gotcha.
I mean, you went that far with that piece of property, why unfinished?
Right, that's
Yeah,
what.
I can see your point. It is a great place too, it's a great, you know,
Right.
have the benches and the
Did
benches.
you
but
include in your estimate the signage that were?
I
Signage
think
is,
we covered it. We went through it.
signage is about $300 for 2 signs that say, welcome to Indian River.
Public dog.
Public free docking, no swimming, 3-minute walk to town, to downtown, and was it no mooring overnight? So, we've got 2 signs into the format of the signs that we've been using around for the, format for that we've been using around town.
I don't want to throw in another wrinkle, but I have to. We, in the grant, I was looking at it today, we said it would be ADA compliant. And there's not a way for a wheelchair to get from the road to the concrete. I don't know how we fix that.
Where did we put it in here?
Oh,
On the-
I know that we said the docks would be ADA compliant, and I don't,
And the lawn is level to the sidewalk.
Yeah,
They can get on there with a wheelchair.
but they're, and
Say
they
that
actually,
again.
they
I couldn't hear
actually
you. Say it
park.
again.
The lawn is level with the sidewalk. It is a smooth transition, there's not a lip there, so you just go right.
From the
onto
road
lawn.
to the,
No, from the
There's,
dock.
it slopes down, but
If
there's
you,
no.
you can pull into the garage.
Right, if you pull up, you can roll across there.
You could.
There's
So
no
we'll be
steep
okay?
slopes, it should pass.
Yeah, because that wasn't in, we just moved $9,800 to add the boardwalk along the edge. That wasn't in there in the beginning, so we won't be able to get another sidewalk in that.
it sounds to me like we should move. If Mr. Burke, representing the commission, is going to move it, I think you and I go to the tribe.
I agree, I agree.
Well, first we ask,
Right.
and we have very good reasons, and then we go to the tribe.
Yep,
No, I think you go to the tribe first, right? You're gonna go to the tribe first.
and then we'll have an explanation for the state.
It's got things.
Well, we don't need an explanation for the state to move it. She already said that was okay.
Okay,
She already said that part was okay based on the wording.
But aren't we gonna need more time from the state? So we
Sure.
can move it and install it?
It won't be part of that project anymore. That's what she said.
you
Is that what
eliminated
she
it.
said? She said if the kiosks were there, we'd be okay. That's what you said she said that.
say that again.
That Amy said if the kiosks were there based on the descriptions, that we would be okay.
A kiosk where?
Down at
At the
the
dock.
seawall.
But we don't want it.
Well, you'll have to put something.
Put a sign.
Okay, I will call her tomorrow, and we need a motion that we'll start
say-
investigating, moving it into the.
I don't think we said kiosks, I think we said signs.
Yeah. See, and I'm looking
The
at
signs.
the outlines of the material. I didn't read through the entire grant.
3 times.
Yeah, it doesn't say kiosk. That was the thing we put in the narrative, Bob,
Right.
Yeah.
was the informational thing about the tribe.
Yeah,
That was what we put in the narrative.
and so it doesn't make sense not to put it here and to put it down there. That would be too disjointed.
Right.
So why don't you clarify with Amy?
Okay.
We start there.
I think it's
And we
right.
simply say, Amy, the kiosks have to go with the sculpture
Yeah.
because of because the tribe's going to explain the cultural significance of the statue.
And if that's the case, then
And we only need 1 kiosk, not 2,
Right.
Correct.
because 1 was gonna be about you know, at this intersection, the Sturgeon River, blah, blah, blah. You know, because that's where the Sturgeon used to go in
Right.
until they rerouted in 1870. I mean, I can jump on the phone with you, you can handle it. But
I'll
do
call her first thing in the morning.
All right, so do you want me to call Regina over there?
Yes, please call her, and then,
See if I can get an
and
appointment.
then I talked to Joe Hines about the kiosk, and he can deal with Eric Hemingway at the tribe, who will set up all the historical information.
Right.
So they're all set. Okay, you want a motion
So where would that put us on the money?
to move it?
Okay, so we're taking away a lot of stuff. If we take away the rest of the statues, that takes away 12, 6, 7. But are we taking it away? We're moving it. So this is where,
Right, we're moving it, so we have to have another study, hopefully at a smaller cost. And we may need some concrete and
that's
rebar.
yeah. I mean, if it ends up to be just as expensive to put it here,
I can't see that it would
I
be,
can-
not with all the pilings that you have to put down there and
Yeah.
everything. I can't
Pilings
see
are
that.
expensive.
so you're taking away the key, I mean, out of this grant, that's I think what's getting confused. If we take it away from down there, are we in essence taking it away from the grant, or are we asking her if we can change locations?
We're
and
asking
keep
her if
it?
we can change
Change
locations
location,
keep it part
because
of the grant.
of the study
Okay.
and the soil conditions, not make it conducive, and it's not, doesn't sound to me like it's safe
Okay.
unless we spend a bloody fortune.
Right.
Yeah,
We
it
get
is.
60-mile-an-hour winds sometimes. This thing is massive and, you know, if we don't do this right.
Well, it's tall,
We'll
it's
do it
not,
right no matter where we
it's
do it.
not thin,
Right,
it's
yeah.
thin, it's just tall.
Okay, so you're
Right.
getting rid of a kiosk, $3,200. You are getting rid of the yep, another 8,800
Slab and people.
slab and
And
then
equipment rental.
and equipment.
Wow, we might still need that, who knows?
So
So-
you're talking, how much now?
$13,000, and we're gonna add a couple thousand to get this.
I mean, if we could be within 5%, that would be
Yeah.
awesome, even with
It would.
2 years of inflation.
So yes, I think I'll make that motion, that
Okay.
Bob contacts the tribe, you contact Amy.
And we'll see about moving it in front of the library.
Hang on.
Oh, wait, we haven't even asked the library. They left. Where's Jim? How you doing?
The library's fine with that.
Okay.
The library approves that.
Is Parks fine with me talking to the tribe?
Absolutely.
Okay.
Okay, that's Bobby's motion. Is there support?
I do.
Bob supports, all in favor?
Aye.
Very good. Okay,
Thanks for doing that.
yes, thank you, Bobby. 17, a board motion, I hope I'm on the same page. Board motion regarding the split at the county boat launch. I talked my ear off today with 5, 6 different people trying to figure out what the legality was. We turned it down one time before.
I make a motion that we turn it down again.
This is a recommendation of our assessor. It's the Plymouth, where's John? It's Plymouth Beach.
Sturgeon Bay.
It's Sturgeon Bay Road boat launch. They wanted to do a line adjustment so that the neighbor could pick up 50 feet. But this deed restricted from, and this goes back a few years, we voted on it once before, we couldn't figure out where we saw it, what it was on the deed. The westerly 66 feet of that boat launch is dedicated to the boat launch and the public. So that's why we turned it down, and on the advice of our assessor as well, Bob made a motion that we're going to
I
deny it.
second.
And Jan seconds, all in favor?
Aye.
Plymouth Beach Association agrees with you.
Yes.
We went against you 7 years ago, and the guy wanted that property, and it's, no. Our association voted it down too, so.
Okay, Jane McGinnis. This is, you don't know Jane, she was former board member, and she and Pat have a McGinnis video, and they do a phenomenal job doing stuff around town and posting and keeping people up to date. Go ahead.
Is this on?
No, you gotta push that button there. Hold it down just for a second. There you go.
Oh, it's on.
Yeah. Nope.
You turned it off.
Lit up? Lit up?
We're so good
I
technically.
thought you were technically astute.
All right.
She's good with technology, it's the buttons that get in the way.
I'm gonna be really quick, it's a long meeting. I just wanna talk a few minutes about Indian River flows. Some of you have seen information on it. But basically, as you know, Pat has been filming the township meeting since 2005. Before I was on the board, while I was on the board, after I was off the board. And he wants to continue doing that. We're going to do that. We think that's an important thing for the community. Janet called us a couple of weeks ago wanting to know, our intentions in it, because Jay Reedsma and others want to make sure that the township meetings are available on the township's website and available for people to view. So this is something we've always done, and we have like 17 years worth of township meetings on our hard drives. So we have a lot of them. So we do intend to continue. And what I have thought about is, if we host them on the township's website, they only have a limited amount of bandwidth. They don't have a lot of space. And it takes a long time to upload. By creating the channel that I did, we can upload the meetings. Like tonight's meeting will be on there tomorrow. We can upload them, and we have the efficiency. If I were to have to take them off the camera, put them on a drive, give them to the township, they'd upload them, it'd be, I don't know, a week. If there was space for it. So anyway, it was more efficient to do it this way. We also looked at live streaming, and I went to some of the townships that do live streaming, and I checked some of their live stream feeds, and they have like 25 views, 22 views, and these are townships that are much larger than we are. So I don't know, we would need additional equipment, additional bandwidth, and everything to do a live stream versus waiting till tomorrow to look at it. So what I've done is created the Indian River Flows channel. We'll have the meetings, it will have special meetings. I hope to do oral histories. We can, film those. And I would suggest the first oral history we do is with Scott Swanson. One of the reasons we are anxious to get this up there is because we're losing our local newspaper. And this is a way to get the information to the community. So we're going to do that, and we'll set up a time to do an oral history with you. That'll be the first one. And, that's what we do. We want any kind of suggestions, ideas people have for it. Please let us know. And it's going to be specific. It's nonpartisan, non-political information on Indian River and the township, and just whatever we think is a fit. So I hope you'll check it out. I've got a few handouts if you want it. It's youtube.com/@Indian River Flows. And we chose Indian River Flows because our river flows in the heart of the waterway, and hopefully this will be a flow of information, education, and entertainment, maybe whatever. So
How many views have you?
okay. Well, we have 11 subscribers so far, but the public accuracy testing video that we did of the voting tabulators, that's had 22 views. Now, down in Heartland Township with lots of people, their meetings aren't getting those kind of views. So. Last month's township board meeting has had 39 views. I don't know how many went through the whole hour and a half of it. But at least 39 people clicked on it and looked at it. So, and then we've got other Indian River, like the golf course and the dedication of Veterans Affairs. So I'll be adding more of those kind of videos, as we go along. And we've got the playground, so we're going to have them for the Parks Commission. Maybe we'll do the Planning Commission stuff. I don't know. But whatever anybody thinks, we'll go home and take a look at it. So, you want to? I've got some extra ones of these. So, anyway, I, appreciate it, and hopefully it'll be a way of getting some information out of it.
Thank you.
Very good.
I'd like to say that, Jane, you guys have done a phenomenal job of chronicling what goes on in the township, and we really do appreciate it. I think they deserve a second hand.
You can put that on the air.
He does all the work.
It is valuable. It's amazing how many views we get on boat races and everything about it.
Michigan Man is still the top on our McGinnis video channel.
Well, we're just telling people they really need to maybe get a life. I appreciate that. It has opened a lot of doors, believe it or not.
Wait till we do our fireworks.
Yeah. Okay, thank you, Jane. Assessor, Dawn?
Okay, so a couple changes. I did talk to Brooke this morning, and she did pass her test with flying colors. I also have had a couple of conversations with Clayton, and Clayton, while he has committed to helping us for the time being, has indicated that it's not something he wants to continue to do long term. The conversations that, I mean, all of us have had conversations with different people in assessing, and we all know that there is a shortage of assessors out there. So the conversation that I had this morning with Brooke was that she would be interested in looking at a proposal. I took the contract that John Garris, that we had with John Garris, and made a couple of changes. I want everybody to take a look at that. And if there's any questions or changes that you guys can see that we would want to make, my motion is going to be that we make her an offer and see if we can get her to consider taking the position.
What has Clayton told you in terms of the timeline?
He didn't give me the timeline. He just said that there are some things that he's waiting, he's gonna put on the back burner to, because he doesn't need to do it right now, for the next guy. And that this was, something that he was only looking at short term. So,
This is just your thoughts right here. This isn't
this is the contract that we had last week with John before he left. The only thing that I changed and added was a separation clause, so clause 7. Basically, it pretty much almost mirrors what we agreed to with Gordon, and I don't know about those. I didn't look at those separation.
I don't think there's a contract yet.
Oh, okay, great, so we're looking at that. Okay, so the other thing is that I have talked to a lot of people in this township, and no one is interested in outsourcing. No one wants to outsource this job.
So your motion is to make an offer?
Yep.
To discuss
So
with
the
Brooke and
salary,
make an offer?
yep, the salary stays the same, it's 45,000.
Hiring policy says you have to repost it.
Why?
If
We
you're gonna
already
do this, you
interviewed
should
it.
repost it.
Why? We already interviewed it.
You didn't advertise like you said, we didn't put out an RFP like we said.
We never said, I went back and listened. We never said we were gonna do an RFP. We said we were gonna, no, we didn't.
Wasn't even advertised in the local paper, it was advertised in where Sheboygan, no, not even in Sheboygan.
Petoskey and Gaylord, because Sheboygan already knew, people in Sheboygan already knew, we'd already had calls from people in Sheboygan.
I like Brooke. I thought she would have been a good fit with us.
When I talked to her this morning, a couple of things that she pointed out was that the synergies right now, like she said, ag isn't any different on that side of Miller Road as it is on this side, and vice versa. That there are a lot of synergies between the two counties that she could use, and probably you probably know more about that than I do.
Well, her proximity and knowledge of the area absolutely would be beneficial. Like I said before, we have established a feel of how the office runs, how the assessor interacts with the community. Like you said, I've had realtors call me and say, what is going on? When is this gonna, when's somebody gonna pull a trigger and get someone I can, communicate with? So going in a different direction would be a bump in the road for our township, for our realtors, for citizens, title companies, the treasurer, all those people, because it's gonna change how we've done business.
Every time
So-
Clayton's in here, there are people in his office. He makes appointments to meet people in the office even because he's in close proximity. She's literally 11 miles from this door.
Where's Clayton?
He's in Sheboygan.
He's in Sheboygan. He has, how many units does he have? 5 units. And you said she passed her level 3.
Yep, she passed with 1 color.
Yeah. I still think she's a great candidate. I think she would be a good fit for what we've got going here. We've invested in Terry, again, that fits. So those kinds of things are no-brainers. I still worry about where we've been in this process with her.
Well, what she told me was this was always her long-term goal, was to get a foot
Neighboring
in,
townships.
yes, neighboring townships, so it's a good fit for her. She's qualified. I can't, I don't think we're gonna find anybody else.
I don't see the harm in putting out an RFP one more time to make sure that we've covered all the bases. Just assuming that, I don't think we're gonna be finding someone else. I don't think that's enough. I think we should explore, have an RFP out, and then we'll examine it at that time. I mean, the only one who applies, then we deal with it, but if we get others, I think we should owe it to the community to make sure that we cover all the bases. So I would like to see another RFP go up, or an RFP.
When we could send an RFP out, an RFP is gonna be contracting the job out. No one wants to do that. The people that live in this community do not want to contract this job out. It is a good paying job.
That's not.
Please be.
That is true. I have not heard one person say, yes, go
If they're,
contract it out.
I think you said it, if they're LLC, it would have to be a contract. If it's an individual, it has to be an
Can we stop the
appointment.
texting
And-
in this room?
Excuse me?
The texting, everybody's
I'm
phones
sorry,
go
Beth,
off.
please, yeah,
She does it.
people sign us at
The phones.
cell phones.
All I'm hearing is ding, ding, ding.
Are you making a motion, Janet?
Yeah.
And is there support for that?
I would like to have further discussion regarding the RFP versus an employment situation.
Okay.
And how that app goes out.
Okay, get your microphone, please.
All right, well, I would prefer that it not be an RFP per se, that we come up with some wording that leaves us open to an employment agreement or
Oh,
an
certainly.
RFP. So an RFP though is a
No.
request for proposal, so if we use that wording, then that's the direction we're going. So
Okay.
I would like to have the wording.
Yeah, but to support what you're saying, isn't there some kind of a law that says that if you cannot have I saw it in Township Focus, where
What-
you have to have an employment agreement if you are not an LLC.
No,
I read that somewhere in the Township
no,
Focus
it
magazine.
can be a sole proprietorship. You don't have to be an LLC. That's incorporating.
Yeah, but that leaves it open.
Exactly.
I mean, you're putting it out to one set of people or another by limiting
Put
it
it out to
to an
everybody is what
employee
you-
or an
you're
RFP.
saying
And I would be open to that.
Well,
You know, widen out the spread to get more
well,
coverage.
the problem
That's
is
it.
that we want somebody that's in the office, and she's agreed to be in the office 1 day a week. Is what she's agreed to.
That's
So
not
the people
not
can come in.
necessarily a problem, because we don't know what
Yeah.
other people would apply and their agreement would be. So we need to widen up our scope and just see who applies and who's interested and what their terms would be.
So that's, the problem with that is when you start
Give it
telling
another name.
people that they have to be in the office, it becomes employer-employee relations. And so it's an employee, it's not a contract job. Contract, when it's a subcontract or a contract, that means they determine their own hours, where they work, when they work, and they invest in their own equipment, et cetera. So that's the difference. An employee is, they work here, we tell them what day we want them in, or the hours that they're gonna work, and you dictate their terms of employment.
Like I said, put an ad out, see who applies, we'll discuss it then on who's coming in, and what their terms would be, and we decide at that time if it's a good fit or not.
What would
We've
you
done
call
that,
that, Bob?
we've done it. We already did that.
What would you call that?
I would say we are seeking an assessor,
Okay.
you know, and keep that terminology, you know, if you are interested,
Broad.
contact.
Keep
Yes.
it broad.
Yes, and then
Broad. That's
when you
fine.
sit down, and
Yeah.
both times we've done it, that's how we've advertised it.
I'm good with that.
And then the first time we did it, we sat down and individually spoke with each person to find out their situation. And they already have a situation
I'm good with
of how they want to be employed. And then, from that.
And then you decide which one would fit good with the township. That's all I'm saying.
But we need the hiring policy. I don't know if anyone has that memorized, but I would like to, last time we did not follow the policy at all. So I would like to set up how this gets done per the policy this time.
Well, I'm gonna tell you that she did tell me she does have another offer on the table. She's already had one, she's turned down. And, so we're gonna end up losing out on somebody that's right here that knows the area if we do this. I just feel like we already did it, we
You have
ran
to
the
make that
ads.
decision,
We already did it, we ran the ads, we interviewed her, not once but twice, because the two of you did and then the two of you did.
Yeah, I like Brooke. I mean, I was sold on Brooke when we had our interview with her, and I wish I would have been a little more concrete in our discussion, Janet. Because I thought that she was what we've been looking for. Someone that's in the area, and now she's got a level 3. It's not like we're sitting around waiting for her to take the test. And I think that was one of the things that you were concerned about.
That was one of the main things, because there was some things mentioned that I was uncomfortable with if she did not pass the test. Yeah, and you know that, I was uncomfortable with some of that.
Well, she did
the
pass it,
options.
and one of the things that came up were the, and I didn't catch it at the time, special assessments, but she doesn't do those. The assessors don't do those. We should assess our office does.
I like Bobby's idea. We should go out again and follow the hiring policy.
I agree.
It's only a page.
It's
You
time.
just have to
and
read it again.
It's time. and
Clayton's
we're
not going
wasting.
anywhere.
Well, he hasn't said that. He's committed to
He's not gonna
sticking
quit
out.
tomorrow.
He's not gonna quit tomorrow, but he has already indicated that he's not gonna stick around. This wasn't something that he was looking for long term. I
We
think
can't,
we're
we can't sit on it, it's not,
no.
because there are things he's setting aside and not doing because he doesn't wanna start
That
something
every
and,
assessor does things
yeah.
differently.
so there, I mean,
Well,
we're,
let's go out with the ad and
Let's get it
follow
done.
the hiring policy and get it done.
Yep.
That's the motion.
That's your motion, Janet, and that's your support? Your support? Okay. All in favor with that? All-
Aye.
All opposed?
No.
All opposed.
um,
Motion
are we
passes.
going to have a special meeting though to follow the hiring
Well,
policy?
I'd like to talk about, look at our hiring policy
'Cause we
and
just
talk
kinda-
about what we're gonna do.
Yeah, because
Okay.
we've just made a motion, right, that is incomplete and far as.
Yeah, we have to write some kind of guideline on how we're going to proceed with this, per our hiring
Oh.
policy.
No, I mean, there's pieces of
Sure,
the hiring
sure,
policy
sure.
that we can't do anything still right now, because we didn't do A, B, C, and D, so we really just didn't do anything.
Correct. Correct.
Oh, so if you're gonna do that, why don't you just designate who the, selecting officials are gonna be and we run an ad? Again.
Well, we've been down that road already.
I know,
Yeah,
but
and then-
that's why I didn't wanna do it. We've already
Yeah,
done it.
that's, yeah, we're not, I mean,
Well, let's get the ad out there, and then if we have a special meeting.
that's what happened last time though, Janet, is we put an ad out and then it wasn't the right ad and it wasn't in the right place and it didn't follow, and then everything went sideways. We have to have, if we're gonna have a policy, we have to follow the policy. So if we're gonna make a decision right now, I would think we have to make the motion in a form of action that can be taken.
Okay.
So we need a copy of the policy. We do have that.
I don't have the
Okay.
iron policy with me, I wish I did.
I mean, do we
I
go down
don't
and
know
take
what
the
to write
time,
it.
or do we?
It's online.
We can't do it. I don't want this to happen to another person,
Right, exactly.
because I
agree.
think,
I see your, maybe, I don't know.
Yeah, just look at it.
Yeah, go
You
get
got it
it.
online?
Yeah.
I mean, I've got it, right, Andy?
Can I say something real quick while we're gonna?
Yeah, go ahead, Jane, please.
I forgot to
Please.
say. If you go to Indian River Flows, subscribe, and then if you hit the little bell up there, it will notify you when there's a new video up there. And there's also a link to the township's website in the corner.
What is your, how do you get there?
If you go to youtube.com
Oh, okay, YouTube.
/ at Indian River Flows, FLOWS.
Or you can just search their name.
Did anybody second it?
If you just do it at Indian River Flows, that's the new handle. Thank you, Wayne.
Yes?
If nobody seconded it. That's to be seconded or.
What are we waiting for?
They want to get a copy of hiring policy, so they can write the ad.
We already have,
Okay, let's bring it back to order, people. Go ahead, John.
so we already have minimum requirements. I mean, the requirements are spelled out here in the contract. That's what we were doing before. That's not changing, right, Bobby? So that's already here. To me, we just need to do the selecting officials and run the ad. So you got notices, yep.
And decide if the selecting officials are presenting up all qualified applicants or going through the process and offering up one.
I think you're only gonna probably get one.
Well, I think we should have it all qualified applicants. If we only get one, then we only get one. But I think all the options should be out there. I mean, It's an important
So if we're
position.
gonna put it in the newspapers and the websites, our website,
It's gonna go to the same papers that went before, right?
well, we should include the Sheboygan paper,
I should
We
now
could,
because
but
it's
that
been a
would-
while.
Yeah.
because that's where we put our legal notices.
Well, previously, the equalization department had put it out there for us. That's
Oh.
why it saved money to not put it in that paper.
Because just two, what was the cost for just the two? It was a couple $100.
Oh, yeah, it's outrageous.
And three was gonna be really expensive, so we limited it to the two because of the
Equalization.
Chat it out, people.
equalization department put it out there for us.
So we put it in the website, 3 papers, and who's the selecting officials?
Send it to the MTA community. Is there an assessing?
And Michigan Assessing Association, there's MAA,
Yeah.
The who?
MAA, GLAD.
GLAD.
Can you send that to me?
Yeah, I think GLAD would put it out. I don't know who the
Mhm.
contact them was.
Yeah, that's right. Okay, selecting officials, is there a nomination for selecting official?
Well, considering that the two of you are both, have both been in assessing, I'm gonna nominate you and Bobby, both.
Is there a reason why the whole board can be involved in that? Sure we can.
I think for madam, if agency, I would think you want a couple, but if you want, how would you see the whole board, bring in a special meeting, bring in everybody?
Yeah.
I just, I think
Gets
that's,
everybody on the same page.
I
I'm
think
gonna
it's,
defer to you anyway.
oh, well, that's what
No,
I'm
that's
saying.
what I'm-
Yeah,
That's
so
what
why
I'm saying.
So why would you put
Why-
people
Because
in
I'd
that
like to be
position?
president.
Well, yeah, it's the board, when we interviewed, anybody's, you know.
I mean, I'm not an
Yeah.
assessing expert, even though I found the checklist.
If anybody wants to, you know, if the board members want to sit down on the interviews, I don't think there's a problem.
I don't know if that would
Yeah,
follow
then it's an
it.
open meeting.
Yeah.
Well, that'd be an
probably.
open meeting.
Would be
Or
a
you want to
special
keep,
meeting.
and then you want to keep it.
No.
If there's a reason, if there's a reason for just having 2 people to keep it a private meeting, is that one of the purposes of this, to
Yes.
keep it a private meeting?
So-
If we have an open meeting, then it puts the person in a,
Yeah, okay.
I'm listening to what you say,
Yeah,
your
yeah, yeah.
interview, you're listening to
Round
my
robin,
interview.
round robin.
That's, I mean, because it has to be an open meeting, so if the whole board's there,
Then you're
anybody
all
here
there.
can be here, then the other candidates
Yeah.
can be there.
Can't do it closed.
That's why you have selected.
but they're not an employee at that time.
Oh, okay, sure.
So,
I'm
And
going
that's the
back
way
to
that we
nominate Bobby and Mike because they're
Okay.
both experienced in assessing, and none of the rest of us are.
Before we go any further, with the ad, Bobby, you would put in, is it gonna be,
microphone there?
We can't hear you.
will you put in like the duties?
I would run the same ad we
Ran
ran before, because that was the same ad, I mean, it's a generic ad. An assessor knows what their duties are. It's not, I mean, since it's a licensed position and you have certain duties, staff knows.
Just for myself, over the longer term, I'd like to see a report from that portion, at least quarterly. You know, like, where are we on our 20%? There's a really cool list in one of those magazines.
Okay, we have, Bobby and I have been nominated as the selecting officials. Is there we need support?
I'll support that.
Okay, all in favor?
Aye.
Yeah, okay. Okay, public comment. I know you've been waiting for that. Yes, sir.
Yeah, back in August, they had a primary, and the winner was for clerk was Jay Risma. And all of a sudden, there's a write-in that I knew nothing about her, or Decker, or what her qualifications were, why she did it. Kind of seems like you're gonna pull a fast one or something on the people. So that's maybe, if there's comment on that. you know, I have nothing, I know nothing about her.
Thank
Jay
you.
ran a nice campaign. I think he got to a lot of people. And I would like to know something more about her.
Thank you, sir. Public comment? Yes, Miss Sally?
I would like to say that I'm very disappointed in the board. We got ourselves into a mess when we lost John. I don't know how John was doing, and I was not happy that he was in Marquette and only came down 2 days a month. We talk a lot about in this township that it's unusual and that we have high expectations of our public officials to be available. And he certainly didn't fill that qualification. So I'm very concerned. That's why Laura and I, not Laura, whatever her name is, the gal from Melanson, I've never met her. I've heard people talk about her. I know people who know her as from a public reference. She's a good person. And so I would hope that this time around, since we didn't do it the last time around, that we won't wait another 3 or 4 or 5 months in order to fill that assessor position, because I do believe that they're in short supply, and we're lucky she's still talking to us.
Thank you, sir. Yes, Beth?
I would bring her salary.
Okay, yes, Nancy, did you have a public comment?
Yeah. Somebody on the board, I'm not gonna name names, said that they are working for the people and not for money, but they're working for the people. This was at a meeting, and Mr. Reedsma did win the election. And all the underhandedness that's going on right now, it's pathetic for this little town. It's really pathetic.
Thank you, Nancy. Public comment? Yes, sir.
Yeah, I just wanted to say, a little enlightenment on the assessor. My nephew is a troubleshooting assessor, and he just took a contract for the city of Detroit for $230,000 a year. So, good luck.
Go back to school here real quick. Public comment. Okay, public comment is closed. Board comments? Board comments? Anybody? Just Robert? Go ahead, Robert.
I just wanted to publicly thank Bobby for taking on this.
Microphone.
I'm sorry. I wanted to publicly thank Bobby for taking on the statute for save us serious money.
Thank you, Bonnie.
So I do.
Okay, go ahead. Microphone's on?
Yep, my microphone's on. So, first, I know there's been a lot of concern about the ballots, and I just wanted to get a quick report where we're at. As of today, we had 853 ballots go out and 601 come in. We're at 71% return rate on absentees. I did go back and look at the 2020 presidential race. For the 2020 presidential, we had 1249 go out and 1197 come in, so they were at 96%. We're getting in probably between, 60 and 100 a day. So I suspect we're gonna hit that percent rate. The other thing that I wanted to talk about, as everyone knows, this is my last meeting. I just wanted to say that when I took this job, I hoped that I would make a positive impact on the township. I think I probably have. I've worked pretty closely with folks, and we've gotten a lot of things done. Bob, Mike and Sue and I started out with ARPA. I mean, out the gate, I did a weekend webinar, and we had like a handful of days to get the ARPA grant applied for, and we ended up with the $306,000. Bobby and I worked really closely with BSNA on payroll and with the bank to set up direct deposit for all of our employees at no cost to the township. Bobby and I worked directly with BSNA and our Joe Berlin, our auditors, to consolidate accounts so that we could minimize some of the risk with errors, and that's been a great time saver as well. Her and I worked with the auditors to develop most of the policies that we've put into place, and we've gotten all of them done, what we needed to have done. I just wanted to say that I appreciate the chance that I've had to work with you guys. Even though at times it's trying, it's been eye-opening. I've learned a lot, and I'm going to be thrown on someone's side for a while.
Thank you. Yeah. I would like to thank Dawn. I know how hard she worked, and I know what a lightning rod that front desk can be. You did work hard. You did a lot of great things for us. Appreciate it, and appreciate the time and commitment that you made to the township, and we do really, really appreciate it. Pleasure to work with you. Okay, is there a motion to adjourn? So moved. Drive careful, people. World Series is on. Get home.